Good evening and welcome to another video. Today is Thursday 8th of September 2016 and in tonight's video I'm going to look ahead and preview day number 1 of the PDC Darts Trophy, which is going to take place on Friday the 9th of September 2016. This is the 8th part of the European Tour so far this year, and we're going to see the last 48 stage played on the day 1. We're going to see 16 matches played in 2 sessions, 8 matches in an afternoon session starting at 12 PM UK time, and we're going to see 8 matches take place in an evening session which is going to start at 6 PM UK time. Now the first match we're going to talk about is going to take place in the afternoon session, and we'll see Joe Murnan take on Zoran Lerchbacher. Now I think that Joe Murnan is a big favourite in this match. I think he'll be too consistent for his Austrian opponent in this match, and I think that Joe will win this match by 6 legs to 3. The second match of the afternoon session sees the Belgian Ronny Huybrechts take on Vincent Kamphuis, the Dutch player. So it's an all-European affair in the second match, and I think that Vincent won't be used to playing someone of Ronny's standard. I think Ronny Huybrechts will win this match quite comfortably by 6 legs to 2. The third match of the afternoon sees Janos Vegsö of Hungary take on the German player Martin Schindler. Now he's qualified for a few of these European Tour events this year, and I expect Martin to do quite well in this match against his Hungarian opponent Janos, and I think that Martin will win this match by 6 legs to 4 over Janos. The next match is a very tasty match, and it could be the match of the afternoon session. We'll see Payne versus Cristo Reyes. Now both are very talented players, and they both shot this with a very good match, and I think this will go down to the wire. I think this will go all 11 legs, and I think that Payne will nick this match by 6 legs to 5 over Cristo Reyes. The next match sees Andy Smith, the Pie Man, take on Robbie Green. This should be another close encounter, a very interesting encounter, because Andy Smith is like a gatekeeper, and Robbie Green, he can be up or down. One day he can be very good, the next day he can be quite average. And I think this match again will go quite close, and I think Robbie Green will win this match by 6 legs to 4. The next match sees Keegan Brown take on Justin Webers of Germany. So it's an England versus Germany clash. We've got a home favourite in Justin Webers taking on youngster Keegan Brown. Now Keegan Brown's got a lot of questions to answer. You think when he burst onto the scene, we all thought that he was going to be the next big thing, but he hasn't produced in the consistency levels as we thought we would have seen from someone like Keegan Brown. So what do I think is going to happen in this match? I think that Keegan Brown will show his class this weekend, and I think he'll beat Justin Webers by 6 legs to 1. The penultimate game of the afternoon session sees Mervyn take on Dimitri van den Bergh. Now that's a very interesting match because Dimitri's got used to the TV now. He's played a few TV events and he's played in the European Tour a few times before, and he takes on the steady Mervyn. Mervyn King's one of those players, you know what you're going to get from Mervyn King. You get that 95 average and that consistency. He can produce better on his day, but that level average 95 you're going to get consistently from him. And I think that'll be too much for Dimitri in this match. I think Mervyn King will win this match by 6 legs to 3. The last game of the afternoon session sees Ritchie Edson take on Justin Pipe. Now, everyone's favourite in this match would be Justin Pipe, as he's a well-known PDC player, but I think Ritchie Edhouse could spring a surprise on Justin Pipe here, and I'm going for a surprise shock win for Ritchie Edson by 6 legs to 5 over Justin Pipe in the last match of the afternoon session. The first match of the evening session sees Simon Stevenson versus Jermaine Wattimena. Now Jermaine's a consistent player, but he isn't a great player, and I don't know much about Simon, but I think this was a very close match, and I think Simon Stevenson will win this match by 6 legs to 4 over Jermaine Wattimena. The second match of the evening session sees home favourite Janos facing rapid Ricky Evans. Now, both players will want to get on with this match, they both want to play at a quick pace. But what do I think is going to happen in this match? I think the home crowd will get behind their man, and I think that'll push him over the line against Ricky Evans. and I think Janos to win this match by 6 legs to 4 over Ricky Evans. The third match of the evening session sees Andy Jenkins take on Steve West. Now these two players are consistent players. They're not great players, but they're consistent players. Steve West has been good form recently, and I expect him to get the job done over Rocky Andy Jenkins in this match. I think Steve West will win this match by 6 legs to 3 over Andy Jenkins. I think Andy Jenkins will start this match well, but will fade as the match progresses, and Steve West will build into the match, winning the match by 6 legs to 3. The next match sees Kyle Anderson versus Darren Webster against a very, very tasty clash between these two. Both are evenly matched in my opinion, and I think that see Kyle Anderson grow from strength to strength. I think Kyle Anderson will be a much better player in the future than Dan Webster's been, but just now I think they're roughly at the same level on their days. I think Dan Webster can do some very, very good performances, but I think Kyle Anderson is just that little level above and has the potential for an extra few years in his locker. And I think Kyle Anderson will beat Dan Webster in this match by 6 legs to 5. We've seen this in the past when Dan Webster gets into winning positions, he does tend to crumble, and I think that Kyle Anderson will take advantage of that in this match, winning it by 6 legs to 5. The next match sees Jamie Caven take on Kevin Munk of Germany, another home nation player taking part in this event. What do I think is going to happen in this match? Well, I think that Jamie Caven will get the job done against his German counterpart here. We've seen Kevin Monk play before. He got through the first round of the World Championships a couple of years back when he beat Dennis Ovens, but Dennis Ovens had to retire in that match, but he did get through his preliminary match before that, earlier that night. And he takes on Jamie Caven. I think that he's not at the level that Jamie Caven's at, and I think Jamie Caven will win this match quite comfortably by 6 legs to 2. The next match sees Devin Peterson take on Matthew Denton. Now, I don't know much about Matthew, but I think Devin will be up for this weekend. I think we see the best of Devin Peterson in the European Tour, and I think Devin Peterson will win this match against Matthew by 6 legs to 2. I think it's quite a comprehensive victory. I think Devon will start the weekend in a good fashion on his Friday night. The next match, and the ultimate match of the evening, sees Max Hopp take on Vincent van der Voort. Now, the home crowd favourite Max Hopp has a very, very tough task against Vincent van der Voort. He'll be hoping to face a lot of other people before Vincent. Now, Vincent's one of those players you never know what you're going to get. He might come out and average 110. He also could average 85 and be very, very average in doing that. So what I think is going to happen in this match, I think that Vincent will have too much for his German counterpart in this match. I think Vincent will win this match by 6 legs to 5 over Max Hopp. The last match of the evening sees Joe Cullen take on Jamie Lewis. Now these were the two futures of the game at one point. They're not old, but they're progressing through their career and they haven't done as much as we thought they would have done in previous times. So again, two players that want to get on with it. Joe Cullen's a very, very fast player, just a little bit faster than Jamie Lewis. But I think it's an interesting match between the Englishman and the Welshman in this match. I think it's a very tight match, but I think Joe Cullen will beat Jamie Lewis by 6 legs to 5 in the last match of the evening. I think we'll see a good day of darts, and until tomorrow when you get a preview day number 2 of this event, I will see you then. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up on the video. If you want to leave any feedback on this video, you can do so by either the comment section below or by my Twitter, which will also in the description below. And until tomorrow, I preview day 2 of the European Darts Trophy. I will see you then. Goodbye.